I am Dr. Henri Colt, and this presentation is part of Bronchoscopy Academy, an ongoing competency-based curriculum in flexible bronchoscopy. The goal of this work is to improve procedural understanding, anatomical recognition, and clinical judgment while helping reduce patient suffering associated with unequal expertise and inconsistent training. In this lecture, we will review abnormalities of the upper airway and larynx. The upper airway is often treated as a brief passage on the way to the trachea and bronchi, but in bronchoscopy, the larynx and pharynx deserve careful attention in their own right. These structures contain important clues about infection, inflammation, trauma, malignancy, airway dynamics, and even the consequences of medical treatment itself. The experienced bronchoscopist learns early that the examination begins long before the bronchoscope reaches the carina. The upper airway is not simply an entry point, it is part of the diagnostic landscape. Today we will review a series of upper airway and laryngeal abnormalities encountered during flexible bronchoscopy, while also emphasizing a broader principle, the importance of disciplined observation. A bronchoscopy report tells a story that every reader understands in the same way. That requires more than simply naming abnormalities. It requires structure. We evaluate morphology, caliber, patency, shape, mucosal appearance, secretions, tissue quality, dynamic function, and associated collapse or redundancy. The goal is to be precise. In many ways, bronchoscopy resembles radiology or pathology. The language we use shapes clinical understanding. A vague report creates uncertainty. A careful report improves communication, continuity, and patient care. Here we see two examples of upper airway pathology. On the left is a perforated nasal septum. Findings such as this may reflect prior trauma, surgery, inflammatory disease, substance exposure, or chronic infection. On the right is a nodule arising from the epiglottis. Even small lesions in this region deserve careful attention because subtle abnormalities may represent inflammatory disease, benign growths, premalignant change, or early malignancy. The key principle is this: abnormalities should not merely be noticed, they should be characterized. This image demonstrates an ulcer on the epiglottis. Ulcerative lesions raise important diagnostic considerations, including infection, malignancy, traumatic injury, inflammatory disease, or radiation-related changes. The bronchoscopist must observe not only the lesion, but also the surrounding mucosa, whether the tissue is friable, whether there is associated edema, and whether airway patency is compromised. In bronchoscopy, context matters as much as appearance. These next images illustrate several manifestations of candidal infection involving the upper airway and larynx. In some patients, candidiasis remains localized and relatively mild. In others, especially those who are immunocompromised or receiving inhaled corticosteroids, the disease may become extensive. The white plaques and irregular mucosal deposits seen here are characteristic, yet interpretation requires clinical correlation. Bronchoscopy reminds us that medications themselves can alter airway biology. Inhaled corticosteroids improve pulmonary disease in many patients, but they can also create local immunologic changes that may predispose to fungal overgrowth. The upper airway often reflects the balance between host defenses, treatment effects, and systemic illness. This patient demonstrates redundant tissue and a swollen epiglottis associated with obstructive sleep apnea. Not all airway abnormalities are focal lesions. Some reflect altered anatomy and airway mechanics. Redundant tissue can contribute to dynamic airway narrowing, turbulent airflow, vibration, and collapse during sleep. Bronchoscopy occasionally reveals how profoundly airway structure influences physiology. Here we see a folded epiglottis. Some anatomic variations are incidental. Others contribute to symptoms or altered airflow dynamics. The challenge for the bronchoscopist is determining when an abnormality is clinically meaningful and when it represents a benign variant. This distinction requires judgment, not merely recognition. This image demonstrates laryngeal cancer with areas of necrosis. Malignant lesions often display irregularity, tissue destruction, friability, and distortion of normal architecture. Even in still images, one can appreciate the loss of normal symmetry and the invasive character of the process. For patients, lesions in this region carry consequences beyond airway compromise. Voice, swallowing, communication, identity, and quality of life may all be affected. The larynx is both an airway structure and a human structure. These findings represent radiation injury involving the larynx. Necrotic tissue and mucosal burns may appear months after treatment. In some patients, the distinction between recurrent malignancy and post-treatment injury becomes difficult. Bronchoscopy frequently confronts us with the unintended consequences of therapies that were themselves necessary. Modern medicine often operates within these tensions. Treatment may relieve suffering while simultaneously creating new forms of injury. These images demonstrate posterior and anterior laryngeal abnormalities, including arytenoid swelling, luxation, ecchymosis, and leukoplakia. Careful orientation is essential during laryngeal examination. The bronchoscopist must learn to recognize subtle asymmetries and disturbances of normal anatomy. Leukoplakia deserves particular attention because it may represent premalignant epithelial changes. The disciplined observer develops pattern recognition over time. Experience gradually transforms what initially appears visually confusing into an organized anatomical map. Here we see laryngeal changes associated with aspiration, reflux, and candidolaryngitis. The airway is constantly influenced by processes occurring outside the airway itself. Gastroesophageal reflux, swallowing dysfunction, chronic aspiration, medications, infection, and systemic illnesses all leave visible traces on mucosal surfaces. Bronchoscopy, therefore, is not only an examination of anatomy, but also an examination of physiology and disease interaction. These images demonstrate traumatic injury related to intubation and airway instrumentation. Swelling, ulceration, and tissue disruption may occur even during procedures intended to protect life. The feeding tube seen adjacent to the larynx serves as another reminder that critical illness often transforms normal anatomy into a crowded procedural environment. Bronchoscopists must remain aware that the airway remembers trauma. This awareness fosters gentleness, technical precisions, and, in the bronchoscopist, humility. We now move into functional and potentially life-threatening abnormalities involving the vocal cords and larynx. Vocal cord paralysis may impair phonation, airway protection, and breathing. Some abnormalities become evident only during motion or phonation. Acute laryngospasm represents one of those most dramatic functional airway emergencies. The cords close forcefully in a deduction, creating sudden airflow obstruction. And finally, we see an image in which essentially no visible airway remains below the cords. These moments remind us that bronchoscopy is not purely diagnostic. Airway medicine frequently exists at the boundary between observation and intervention. Recognition must sometimes become action within seconds. Procedures can and often are life-saving. These final pathological examples demonstrate the airway from below, as well as traumatic subglottic injury and posterior laryngeal adhesions following intubation. Scar formation and adhesions can permanently alter airway function. What begins as temporary life support may later evolve into chronic airway disease, requiring further intervention. The airway carries a memory of prior illnesses, prior procedures, and prior survival. Bronchoscopy allows us to read that history directly upon the tissues themselves. Bronchoscopy Academy is part of an ongoing competency-based approach to bronchoscopy education. Our goal is to reduce patient suffering caused by unequal procedural expertise, inconsistent training, and preventable error. Additional educational resources, reflective essays, and narrated lectures are available at bronchoscopy.org and henricolt.substack.com.